This poem is called Burning and Looting. Quote, "Why do they burn up their own neighborhoods?" Close quote. All we've ever owned is debt and blood. We hostages with amnesia in our sand-trap homes. Our elders carry purses full of shattered glass. Think petrified tears, not diamonds. Engraving names on the smallest chunks, passing like pills from mouth to mouth, prescriptions of grief, body of Christ as an acid for injustice. This is what we own, while you consume and dismiss. Here's to the stinking history you expected someone else to take out, just so you won't see who's still chained in your backyard. Salute to your sickness and gaslighting and games, inventing machines of generational indifference that eat and swallow communities whole, leaving indoctrination landmines like turds and needles in the weeds. Only you would think to give death as a gift to strangers. If I nervously start to apologize once you break out in smokescreen, it's because someone needs to say a few words that won't end in genocide. At the end of this road, burn what you find and lay a claim on that scorched land. I'm quoting from your unredacted 23andMe. It's like a stripper menu of dictators where the bottle service is either smallpox or bleach. For 400 years, you sat alone drinking, cussing out every other table, doxology to the ceremonies of hatred in your thirst cathedrals of dominion. Your status quo fever burns from the parasite you eat a little bit of every day. Notice how the lines for copyrighted poison keep getting longer? How the customers all look the same, predictable logos and colors? Every year, a pagan ceremony is activated in the desert. The inner druid cracks open, goes locust, constructs an effigy, mockery of the second coming and its invisible cow. A Ouija of flame is welcomed to feast while a praise song to anarchy is lifted. All this done as a form of play from prophets in doubt. But spirit don't play. It can't discern the difference between begging and bullshit, party trick or prayer. Shadows don't need to be called by name to appear. Thank you very kindly.
This is a poem that is, it's called A Burning High Boon. And yes, I asked a lot of people how to pronounce that. But this is a form that was created by Torin Greathouse, who was a trans femme poet. So I just wanted to credit her because she's super cool. Also, trigger warning for like violence and transphobia. Not that that hasn't already happened, but it's going to happen again, but probably more intense. Black petals cover a creaky wooden stage. Someone shouts, "My daughter is dead," and the audience is hysterical in agreement. Never mind how alive every son is. Pan left to flat chests and soft mustaches. Us boys are lifting up our shirts, running our fingers over the pale pink lines that meet at each other's sternums in awe. It's a scene and a half, the whole thing. A confusing confetti funeral, to us a joint birthday party crashed by self-proclaimed grievers in black. Girl names pour out of mourning mouths while we huddle and negotiate which of us will unplug the microphone. We need it for karaoke. Mac, Berg, Theo, me, and Pink, like needle caps and transposed nipples. Leo, Nico, Luca, we send hors d'oeuvres down high-pitched water slides. Wave over Caleb, Ash, Cam, Saint, equally humored and outraged. Lots of people need to shut up so we can celebrate. Weeping father on the microphone says a monster murdered his daughter and stole her clothes as its own. By now, the entombment has turned near the rally, and after everything we have put our families through, is it so much to ask that we remove our nail polish and wear blue? Mascara-faced attendees begin to pop baby shower-colored balloons. How could we expect to be grappled with as alive given the new size of our clits? Oh, shit! Funeral mob draws weapons determined to put us in the ground. It seems like the party is winding down. Our dying wish is to speak a few words at our own inhumation. We scramble to the stage, handsome. We speak slowly and in unison, throw your tissues in the air, motherfuckers, and surrender. Go home and we won't meet you there. It scared us to touch them, but we emptied your guns while you were remembering who we used to be and feeling sorry for yourselves. Soft fingertips over cold bullet by bullet, you are dismissed. All of us are both alive. And the way that form works is it shrinks over time. So I'm going to read the smaller one with the same words but less. Black petals shout, daughter dead. Hysterical. Never mind, son, soft sternum, it's a funeral. Grievers in black. We, Mac, Burke, Theo, me, Leo, Nico, Luca, Caleb, Ash, Cam, Saint, weeping, murdered. Attendees put us in the ground, handsome, in unison, surrender. You emptied your guns, sorry for yourselves, bullet by bullet, dismissed us. Daughter, hysterical, never, son. Weeping, gun, sorry, bullet, bullet, dismissed. This is a poem called The Last Bear in the Headlands. I cased the marina for 3 months until I declared the ship abandoned. It's perfect, I tell you. And since our rent has doubled, what choice do we have but to make it perfect? We seal the leaks and buff the rust. The empties left in the cabin make enough at the aluminum exchange for a few weeks' worth of lentils. At evening, you paint the city's changing skyline in your muted palette, and I walk through the wetlands, bisected by freeway. You never paint the Golden Gate, and I love you for it. Love the way you refuse what is commonly loved. Refuse even the word love. The egret's steps stir petrol rings, and I count the slick, concentric ripples as if tallying years on a slab of wood, noting the dry decades where the rings tighten, followed by thick bands of plenty, billows of fog, rain sheets filtering through roots which don't go deep, but wide. Most days I go swimming before you wake, even though the bay is sick. The bull kelp bobs and the mussels lining the pier at low tide are the color of a bruise. And what is a bruise but the body fighting back? I crawl in the cot beside you, smelling of neoprene, the boat lulling in the hum of I-80. Your paintings hang on every inch of the cabin, and through the circular window, the brown grasses of the headlands sway across the bay, a light rain etching the space between cloud and land. I want to wake you and tell you the hill is like the pelt of a bear, the rain, its tongue, that the last bear in the headlands is the headlands itself. But I know you will turn the simile against the modes of production. The clouds work east across the bay, the tongue matting the bear's fur until it looks like it has emerged from fishing for the salmon it hopes will return to Tamalpais Creek. Any day now they'll come, and I kiss you while you sleep, but not in an obvious way. Steam rises from white tea as you mix a can of paint with one chopstick. Acrylic flecks slip on the floor beside you, and why bother cleaning them, you always say. Why not give the constellation a name, a moon, a mythology? I wonder what you will paint us into as the streetlights shine down on the tent city across I-80, the rain letting up and the clouds parting, the night swelling with AM radio and umbrage as Saturn's rings slip out of focus in the telescope I found by the tracks and swore I'd finally fixed.
So I got a little silver in my hair, and I stopped coloring it because people said it looked good and it went well with silver jewelry and pearls and all that. And then they said, well, it's time to write your memoir. Really? Writing memoir is hard. You knock on doors nobody wants to open. Let the past stay past, under padlock and leafy moss blankets. You knock on those windows with tiny panes. Memory won't let you in there out of pity. Too rough on your consciousness, emotions likely to rile up and stomp. Writing memoir is hard. You have to go really slow. Walk along dusty pathways with a watering can. Stop to take in deeply notched leaves. Hear the sighing of tree branches in the wind. As they recall close cousins cut down, you go home and chant as candles glow. You hold jars of beets your grandmother canned, caress earrings blue and silver your mother left before she walked away, and that brown radio in an antique store, just like the one your dad listened to, you stand and whisper to it, close your eyes and imagine, simply imagine where he might be buried. Writing memoir is hard. A gray stone library beckons and you climb its steep and winding staircase with urgency. At least you did before the plague here. You stroll along the shelves and touch book spines. When one touches you back, you open and read. Memories slip from printed pages, rifle through your curls, nestle in your crimson scarf. Close to the bay, you walk the Embarcadero. Ancestors float in, waving from fishing boats 1,000 miles from Great Lakes territory. You recall fish fries, lamps hung from trees, and laughter lighting up sundown shadows. The tide goes out before they hook a place in your memory. On public transit, electric bus and metro car, people parade past and you inspect for that trace of yesterday others find in family Bibles and albums bulging with photos posed and handed. A stranger smiles and greets you by your birth name, unknown out here on the West Coast. What are the archangels trying to tell you? Start with the little girl first. You know, the one with long braids on the cover of February Voices. Find her again. Won't be easy, but gain her trust. And the cadences will emerge, will outshine manufactured dreams, break through your silences. This memoir business is hard, but where else are you to go? Thank you.
I'm so happy to be here, so happy to be closing out this amazing reading, to witness all these incredible poets and to see all of you. I'm going to be reading a poem to start with that kind of, I think, looks at when the kind of security becomes fortification. So I think resources are about being secure, but being willing to share in that security. This is called Growing Up Wild. If you remember those documentaries about the little animals trying to make it in the harsh wilderness and the odds against them, I was watching those at the time that I wrote this. Look how tall the pines loom, how deep glacial streams gash fields of lupin. It is dangerous to be a child. The star-cut wilds spark with rhythms and nothing rhymes when her grief cry cracks the Precambrian sky, a blue so ancient I almost believe humans will never touch it. But we are worming up there too, parasites grazing the mind of God. There is so little left untouched, and God knows we can't stop touching. I hurry my babies along well-marked trails in well-mapped woods through a camouflaged dazzle of song. A doe stills us with her side eye while her fawns fleet into the trees. So many creatures slide from our gaze, little flames of meeting. No matter how much I wish this sword-sheen green for us, the timber shadows laying down the planks of coming night. No matter how much I want those Arctic stars swarmed thick against a black that seems somehow plush and vacant at once, I know there is nowhere safer to keep the wild than outside. Any territory, I'm told, once claimed must be defended, So we kill, even with our desire to live gently. But there is no gentleness between hunger and what feeds it. Oh, it is dangerous to love a child.